You don't know how to cook, who will marry? And this is a tricky one because my culture is important to me. Many children have told me they wish their parents had taught them their ethnic languages. I want you to be everything that I could not be. So whereas that sounds very harmless, I'm trying to recreate back home in the new country. Things like, I'll give you back to Africa if you misbehave. In their mind, they're thinking Africa is like a dumping ground of sorts. And let me explain before you get mad. Unless you extensively explain to children how you suffered growing up, how you're 10 years old and cooking food for 15 people, how you used to walk barefoot, how you used to walk 10 kilometers one way to school, how you used to go hungry, how you used to only drink soda on Christmas, how you used to eat meat once a year, how you used to sleep on an empty stomach, your children don't get it. You've chosen to give them a soft life or a better life. You bought a car for you, you're still there. What are you doing? You're just here eating food. Things like, you are fat. Who is going to marry you? In this video, I'm going to give you 10 mistakes I see immigrant parents making. You want to wait for number 5 because it's a bit controversial. So keep watching until number 5 and you will let me know your thoughts about it. Mistake number 1, not teaching your children your ethnic language. Many children who have grown up here have told me that they wish their parents had taught them their ethnic languages. Now, I get it. When you move to a new country, you want to quickly assimilate into the new culture, the new language, the new way of life. However, doing that may not always be the best for your children, especially you as an immigrant. Because you're now in two cultures. You have your own culture that you were born with, the one you came with, and then there's this new culture that you've come into. So it's very important to teach your children the difference between those two cultures. By one of the ways you can do it is by teaching them your language. When you teach your children your language, they get to know their heritage, they get to know about their culture, they get to know about their identity, so that they are not mixed up. When a child knows their culture very well, it's very hard for them to get mixed up. Like, they know, they can see their friends do anything and everything, and they will be like, no, I will not do that because I don't do that in my culture. It's against my culture's practices and norms. So I encourage you parents to teach your children your ethnic languages. I know you want to assimilate, you want to like go with the flow, you fear your children might have an accent, you fear your children might fall behind, but let me tell you, there's no falling behind when you're teaching the children about themselves. There's nothing like falling behind. All the adult children I've talked to, all the adult children I've seen, one of their regrets is they wish their parents had taught them their ethnic language. They are unable to communicate to their relatives, to their grandparents, to their extended family in general, especially if they don't speak the same language like where you are. And even if they do, for example, let's say they speak English. The English over here is not the same as the English of ours. You know, their English is even different. Even if they're not used to you, like if they don't speak to you every day, it's very hard for them to grasp your English. And likewise, you also do not, children who are raised here, if they speak to you, you will need to like beg their pardon almost all the time. So the communication is not easy, and that makes them feel so foreign in their culture, like they don't relate so well. And if they don't relate so well, they are really not interested. So because they don't relate so well, they're not interested, so they don't know much about their culture, they end up losing their culture. I'm a great believer that once language dies, culture dies. So please try and make sure you teach your children their ethnic languages so that your culture does not die. It is not about fluency, it's about connection. It's about your children knowing where they come from and actually having something to show for it. You know, like some parts of the culture cannot be translated. There are some jokes you cannot translate. There are some proverbs you cannot translate. And even if you translate them, the meaning doesn't like come whole. It comes like it's a bit diluted, if I may use that word. Yeah. So if you can, teach your children your ethnic language. Number 2, living their life through their kids. Many immigrant parents, like any other person, had dreams and aspirations and, you know, what they wanted to achieve in life. They had so many things they had to fulfill or they wanted to fulfill, but for so many reasons, like, and maybe lack of opportunity, they did not fulfill those dreams of theirs because of the issues that came around, like maybe war, poverty, even just lack of opportunity. So now when they have their kids here or they brought their kids here, they live their life, or they live their life through their kids. They start saying things like, have you had statements like, I will do whatever I didn't do. You have to be successful. You have to be a doctor because I really wanted to be a doctor. I didn't become a doctor. I would be happy if you become a doctor. I didn't become an engineer. You have to be an engineer. I want you to be everything that I could not be. I want you to be everything that I could not be. So whereas that sounds very harmless, a good thing to say, even, it leaves the weight of all that on your children's shoulders. Those are your dreams, they are not theirs. For you, you wanted to be a doctor, you wanted ABC, but your kids may want X, Y, and Z. So for you, when you're telling them how you want them to, like, do this, do that, they may not even be interested in doing that. So you leave them with the weight of that dream of yours on their shoulder. Your parents say statements like, I didn't bring you to this country to study music. No, like, you're going to study that. You can guide your kids, but let the decision be theirs. Because remember, your child is not you. There's this lady I know, she grew up in a poor household. She actually grew up here, but she was also living her life through her kids. She was raised in a low income family, so she didn't have a toy house. And she really wanted a toy house because for her as a child, that was a dream toy for her to have. So fast forward, she had kids, and then her daughters are now, they grew, and now she was buying them gifts. She badly wanted to buy them a toy house. She bought them a toy house, like these expensive toy houses from Pottery and Barn. And then she brought it home. They didn't like the toy house. Like, they played with it for like a few days and they were done with it. And this was an expensive playhouse she had always dreamt of having. But now she's buying it for her daughters, and her daughters act like they don't see the playhouse. She's really disappointed. So that's an example of living your life through your kids. A toy is good for her children, but it's not what they wanted. It's what she wanted. So she bought what she wanted instead of buying what they want. Number 3, trying to recreate back home in the new country. And this is a tricky one because my culture is important to me, and so it is for most immigrants at least. However, some parts of our culture may not be relatable to the life your children are living now. Some things that you grew up with, some things that you grew up doing, they may not be relatable to the life of your kids in present day. For example, the rigid gender roles. Here, everyone, boy, girl, you have to work. You have to cook, otherwise you will not eat. Especially if you're an adult. Even if your boy is an adult, they have to cook for themselves, because unless they are rich and they can afford a chef, they will have to cook, right? Unquestioned hierarchy. Here, kids ask questions. You have to answer them. Unlike us, where they said keep quiet. Here, you don't let your kids keep quiet. They have to ask questions. You just have to answer them respectfully, or if they are not asking in a respectful way, you ask them to ask in a respectful way. But there will be lots of why. And that's one of the questions that triggers us as African parents. But I've learned to answer those questions, and I'm doing better. And it's better for both of us, myself and my children. So the questions will be there. There will be many. Answer them. Don't do what your parents did. Other things like taboos around mental health. Mental health is real. So those are the things I'm talking about. Like, you cannot recreate all the parts of your home country to here. Some things do not make sense. For example, in my culture, when you're greeting somebody, you have to remove your hat if you're wearing a hat or a hoodie or something. But here where I live on the prairies. The prairies are so cold that sometimes it's minus 45 Celsius. There's no way someone is going to remove their toque or their cape or their hoodie to say hi to you in that degree. There's no way they're going to remove their hands from their pockets because they are feeling cold. You get what I mean? So Whereas in my culture, that's disrespectful to like greet somebody when your hands are in the pocket. Here, it's not, because it's really cold. You know, you're freezing. You cannot remove your hands when you're freezing to greet somebody, right? That's like the what I'm trying to say. Like the replication of back home, it may not necessarily be like apple for apple. The respect here is different. What ends up happening if you try to recreate everything from back home is that your kids will feel stuck. They'll feel stuck. They're like too foreign for here, and then not too traditional for the other way. So like they're in the middle, like which is which, you know? So it's very important to explain to them like what your culture says and what the culture says, and you find like a middle ground for it. Culture preservation is very important to me. I actually do a lot of that in my home. There is lots of culture preservation in here. If you want a video about it, like let me know, I'll do one about it, because I do a lot. I'm all for culture preservation. I've done a lot with my kids to preserve our culture, even when they haven't actually experienced our culture. I've taught them the language. They know how to write it. They know how to read it. They know our like traditional, like they know our stuff, like at least most of it. They know, like I would say 80% of it. But one thing that is for sure is they haven't experienced the real culture, like in real time. They have not been in the place. They have not been in my country, like to actually see what I'm talking about. They have seen it in books. Yes, they have read it in books. I've told them the stories. I've showed them some videos, but they have not actually experienced it. Until then, some of the things will stay foreign to them. So give grace to your children. Yeah, give them some grace. If you're teaching them, or if you're telling them what it is like in your culture, or how they should do it in your culture, and they're not like grasping it like fast, like you would want them to do it, give them some grace. It takes a bit of time, especially if you started doing it later in life when they are like older. You want the culture to grow with them, but not against them. So do it in a way that, and it doesn't nag your children. At the same time, you're not losing the culture. Like there's a balance. If you want me to elaborate more on that, comment down below and I'll happily do that, because I love that topic so much. Number 4, parenting from fear and not wisdom. What I've noticed with most of the African immigrant parents in particular is they like try to scare the child instead of teaching the child. This is what I mean. Statements like, you don't talk back, it's disrespectful. Whereas that is true, there is a theory behind it that you haven't explained to the child. In most cases, most of them don't. You have to come from a positive side of it. Like you have to bring it from the positive side of the culture. And one of the things I've also noticed with our culture is that most of the parents here like use our culture or our language or our like back home as a threat. Things like, I'll take you back to Africa if you misbehave. It sounds good to you, the one saying it, but it's not good for the child. In their mind, they're thinking Africa is like a dumping ground of sorts. It's like Africa is where you take people who are misbehaving. Is it like a prison or something? So it works for you as a parent, but it doesn't work for a child long term, at least. Even this one I've also noticed. Parents use their ethnic language when they are like trying to discipline the child. Like that's when they raise their voice. That's when they speak in their language. And I feel like it should be the opposite, because that gives an impression to the child, especially the child that doesn't know the language. It gives them an impression that that language is for scolding them, it's for picking on them, it's for scaring them, it's for, tormenting them in general. So use wisdom. I would prefer you use the language in the good things of the culture or things your child likes. For example, my children love reading books and they love birthdays and they love shopping. So What it is that when you're going to shop, when they're going to shop, it's strictly our language. If they cannot say the thing in our language, they are not buying it. If they cannot, the communication has to be in our ethnic language, from here to the store and back. They love it so much. My kids love going to Costco. When you're going to Costco, the list has to be in my language. My language is Onyankore Rushiga. When we are there, the only things you say are in that language. If you don't say them, if you forget and say it in English, I'm sorry, we are not buying it. And for them, it's like a game. It makes them excited. It's not like when you misbehave, I'll take you back to Uganda. No, it's like a challenge, and they love challenges. So parent from wisdom and not fear. I would say in this case, parents, educate yourselves first, read books, go for seminars. I know us as Africans, it seems like, oh really, I'm going to go to school to learn how to parent a child. But this is a new country. This is not how we're raised. This is not our daily stuff. So it's better to get the knowledge than make mistakes and say I didn't know. Simplest parenting, hold on to your kids, and balanced and barefoot. Those 3 books have really helped me and have helped me relax my nerve when I'm parenting here. Because at first when I'd come, I used to be like, this is not the way. Because everything used to seem so, I don't know, they used to seem so quick, so it was like too much. The buying of toys was too much. Like everything was so fast. And I was like, there has to be a better way. So I had to educate myself. Yeah, and I've felt better. I'm more calm at parenting now than I used to be. Since I've read those books, I feel like I know what I'm doing now than before. 5. Now, this one is a bit controversial for us as immigrants or as immigrants or as Africans. Mistake number 5, not listening to your kids. Yeah. And let me explain before you get mad. Before you come for me, listening to children does not necessarily mean doing what they want you to do. It just means you're listening to them. It just means you're validating their feelings. It just means you're hearing what they have to say. It just means that you're giving them just a shoulder to lean on, or to rant, or to say whatever they have to say, like making space for vulnerability. This helps you make a connection with your child. It's not that they're going to say X, Y, and Z and then you say yes. No. They are going to say their stuff and you're going to listen to them, and you're then still going to say no if it's something you do not like them to do or you don't want them to do. It's not that you're going to say yes, 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 no. So this is what happens. If you listen to their small problems now, it will be easier for them to come to you when they're older, like when they're teenagers, or when they're older, like adult children, to tell you their big problems. Yeah, because you will have made a connection with them to know that they can always talk to you and you will always listen. So it's not just about obedience and rules. Sometimes it's about the connection we make with our children. Number 6, not healing your trauma. You parents, heal your trauma. Do whatever it takes, at least for your child or your children, to heal your trauma. I know it's not easy. It takes time. Many immigrant parents have been through a lot. Some have been through war, some have been through poverty, some have been through, unspeakable hardships, and they have never had resources to process it, or even like a safe space for them to process those hardships. However, your children do not know that. Your children do not deserve to carry the weight of your trauma. For the sake of your children, consider doing the inner work. Is it hard? Yes. But is it possible? Also, yes. I know therapy is expensive. Most of us cannot afford it. But they're like books. These therapists also write books. You can maybe buy or borrow one of their books and read them. If you cannot do that, get like a support group. If you don't have a group like me, you can get a person to talk to, or a friend, or someone you trust. Not very many people. One that you trust. It takes time, but at least you're trying. Healing is a form of parenting too, because at least you recognize that you're also not doing well emotionally and you seek support. That is also a form of, it's healing is parenting for sure. That's what I can say. Talking of healing, this brings me to number 7. Number 7 is dismissing mental health. Mental health is health. Mental health is health. It's health of the mind. Yeah, this one, I really understand where parents are coming from, especially immigrants. However, your children do not understand it. Unless you extensively explain to children how you suffered growing up, how you're 10 years old and cooking food for 15 people, how you used to walk barefoot, how you used to walk 10 kilometers one way to school, how you used to go hungry, how you used to only drink soda on Christmas, how you used to eat meat once a year, how you used to sleep on an empty stomach, your children don't get it. And even if they do, your story is not their story. You've chosen to give them a soft life or a better life, so to say. But their challenges are different. They are being raised in a different country. They're being raised in a different era. For example, when you're growing up, there was no AI. Today there is AI. Your children are using AI. So some things are really different. So their challenges are also different. Mental health is real. Anxiety is real. Depression is real. So do not dismiss your children's mental health challenges. It's their problems. For them, they are not going to sleep on an empty stomach. For them, they're not going to walk barefoot. But they also have their problems. So treat them like problems. They have a soft life, but it also has challenges. So please listen to them. Also validate those challenges they are having and help them navigate them. Next, number 8, confusing survival with parenting. Many immigrant parents come from backgrounds where surviving was the only choice. So naturally, when they come here, when they come to these countries, they operate from that mindset. Yes, for us, providing for your children is crucial. Providing them with their basic needs of life like food and shelter, it's crucial and very important. It's not the only thing you have to do. There is more to that. You have to actually parent your children. Parenting is not just providing food and shelter. It's much more than that. It's not about driving them to and from school. It's not about driving them to activities, to swimming, to wherever you're taking them. It's much more than that. It's about connection. You can still be present physically, but you're emotionally like absent. Give time to your children. The children's currency is time. Like, be with your children. When you're with your children, be with your children. And teach your children what you'd like them to learn, especially when they are young. When they're older, you will not really have time, and they will also not have time to listen. So teach them when they're still young what you would like them to do or to be or to have in them. Put down your phones. Be with your children. If there is a skill you need your child to learn, teach it to them. Do not wait for the school. The school will teach math, the school will teach English, the school will teach academics. The school will not teach your children values, the school will not teach your children morals. No, the school doesn't teach that. The school will not teach your children entrepreneurship. The school is not going to teach your children about money. Teach them. Teach your children. Teach them skills you want them to have. It's about helping them become responsible adults. It's about helping them become emotionally stable. The world needs emotionally stable adults, and it starts from emotionally stable children. It doesn't just happen. You have to train your children so that they are good for the world they are going to be adults in. Your children need connection, your children need support, your children need understanding. It's not just about shelter and food and you have food. No, it's much more than that. You can still provide all that and still be absent. They will still say, I have no connection with my parents. So yes, survival is important, but now that you're here, relax. Switch off the survival mode and actually be the parent and parent your child. Be there for them. The children's currency is time. Give your children time. If you need to drop that third job or that second job, drop it. And give your children time. At least in the younger years. All children need time, but if you cannot avoid it, in the younger years, like you can work less or work against their timing, maybe work at night, so that at least at all times, the child, unless they're in school, they have one of their parents with them. If it's a 2-parent household. Mistake number 9, defining success too narrowly. For a lot of immigrant parents, Knowingly or unknowingly, their form of success looks like a doctor, an engineer, a lawyer. Yeah, the rest of you, it's just survival. However, your child, again, your child is not you. Your child is your child. So let them explore their passions and figure out what they want or what they want to do for career or for business. You can always guide your children, but let the decision be on. Not encourage your children, but do not decide for them. Give them space to define their own dreams. And guys, if you're still watching up to this point, please subscribe to my channel or leave a comment down below and let me know one of the mistakes you see immigrant parents making. Or if you're an immigrant parent, what have you observed? How is it there in your house? And last but not least, number 10, mistake number 10, shaming kids instead of guiding them. Now, let's be honest. Most of us grew up in an environment where shaming was a form of discipline. Things like, look at your friends, they're doing better than you. Your friend bought a car for you, you're still there. What are you doing? You're just here eating food. Things like, you don't know how to cook, who will marry you? Things like, you are fat, who is going to marry you? Things like, you know that one, she bought a car, you're still here, you're the same age. For you, what are you doing? Things like that. Parents back home say them, or parents, even relatives like aunties and uncles, they say, I don't know, for them it's a form of discipline or it's a form of motivation. But when you look at it, actually it's not. It's shaming. It's killing one's esteem. Some of us are still struggle with self-esteem because of the words they told us when we were 10 years old. Because of the words they told us when we were younger. Like, you get what I mean? If you get what I mean, just let me know, because they shamed me for almost everything. But it didn't make me any better, it just made it worse. Even present day, I struggle with low self-esteem. Why? Because I was told my voice is bad, because I was told I was ugly, because I was told who will marry me, because I was told, you know, I don't know how to cook, who will marry. You get what I mean? But here is the thing. Shaming is not discipline. Shaming is not disciplining. Instead of shaming your child, rather discipline them, like let them know what they are doing that is wrong, and let them know the right thing they're supposed to do, or help them know. Some of them don't even know, because most of them, they're young. Like the teenagers and those young kids, they don't know. So tell them what they're supposed to do in a calm but firm voice, like calm and firm. Don't bark at them like they barked at you. So in a nutshell, shame doesn't improve behavior, it creates self-esteem issues. Let that not be a portion of your child. So do better than what they did for you. Thank you guys for watching my video. So those are some of the mistakes I see immigrant parents making here. You can comment down below if you're a parent. Let me know what are some of the mistakes you're seeing your friends doing. Or if you're here and you're raising your kids in the diaspora, what are you doing different? Like from what they did, from what your parents did, or from what they do back home in our countries. What are you doing different to make sure that your children are well-balanced adults in the future? Comment down below and let me know. Thank you guys for watching, and please subscribe to my channel. Bye.